This episode is...
Oh my God, a lot of happens.
Yeah,
got a lot of story.
This week, Blu del Barrio, aka Adira Tal, and director Jonathan Frakes stopped by the Ready Room. Plus, we look back at the eclectic group of Starfleet officers who sat in the USS Discovery's center seat. Stick around for that and more. Hey nerds, I'm Wil Wheaton, and this is the Ready Room, your official behind-the-scenes hub for the Star Trek universe. One of the greatest honors a member of the Star Trek family can ever have is being invited to sit in the captain's chair. A little later, we'll see if the Disco cast can remember who has filled their center seat over the course of Star Trek Discovery's 5 seasons. This week's episode reveals a lot of the answers to this season's secrets, and we're revealing a lot of spoilers here too. So, I'm calling for a black alert! Before you watch another second of the Ready Room, grab your favorite device and stream Star Trek Discovery's penultimate episode titled Lagrange Point. You have made it this far, you don't want to get spoiled now. We'll still be here when you come back, I promise. Today, I get to sit down with a couple of my favorite people. Up first is Blu del Barrio, who plays Adira Tal, and then a little later, the director of this week's episode, Jonathan Frakes. We will be uncovering the secrets behind the making of this week's show, and also looking back on the season and the series as a whole. Control room, engage. Blu del Barrio, I am so happy to have you here in the Ready Room. Welcome back.
Thank you.
Let's get right into it. Okay. This season has given all of us an intense amount of what I've written down as feels. This season has been exciting, so adventurous. There's been so much happiness and joy in this season, and like an incredible amount of sadness, bittersweet sadness, right? Lots of endings.
Bittersweet was a good word. I think it was a really heavy season for them. Not that the others haven't been. I think that they started to take a lot more responsibility, I think, for what they wanted their life to look like this season. I think that they started to adult a little bit more.
Remember how scared you were to be on the bridge when we went to Now? You did a great job. In general, you're really finding your way, and you shouldn't be afraid to take on more. Thanks, Teach.
I don't know if I've had an opportunity to say this to you directly. I've written about it and I've spoken about it in public. It is not a secret that I adore Adira, and that I feel that Adira is everything I always wanted for Wesley Crusher. There are things that I absolutely love about them. I love that they are not ashamed of how smart they are. I love that they are given responsibilities by the adults around them. And then when they rise to the task, which is terrifying and challenging, right? You as Adira, you're like, I'm kind of awkward and nervous, and that's just who I am, but I still can do the things. I like normalizing that.
Yeah.
I think that's really important.
Yeah.
I just love that Adira is this valued member of their crew.
If we hit it precisely with a sequential hexagonal pattern, it should stay open for approximately 60 seconds. But once it collapses, it's gone for good.
Why hexagonal? It doesn't matter. It'll work.
No one minimizes what they do. Wil Wheaton looks up to Jonathan Frakes the way Wesley looks up to Riker. I wonder if Adira looks up to anyone on Discovery, and if Blu looks up to anyone on Discovery.
The very obvious answer is Stamets and Culber as well, but it very much so, they do cross over into real life, especially coming up from theater. Is what I think. Even stepping in on day one, I was immediately these two people are so, I want to be just like them. I'm so scared of them. And they fully parented me in the most caring way, in a way that was accepted 100% on my part, and probably needed.
I had a similar experience of being on the set and immediately knowing I can completely trust these people.
Yeah.
They see me. They see me in a way that just nobody else in my life does for some reason.
Yeah, yeah.
And that they are still in my life, still seeing me in ways that a lot of people don't. I think it's cool. I like, that's a thing that I believe you and I share.
Yeah.
Kids on Star Trek with like parental figures in the cast. There's not a lot of people who can can say that.
No.
It's a unique experience.
No, and I think like lucky that the people who were in both our situations, the like parental figures, were so willing and open to having that kind of a relationship.
Yeah.
Not long ago, I was the one going into the unknown on the 10C planet, and you were wishing me luck.
It's my turn, I guess.
It is our final season of Discovery.
Yeah.
It's really sad. It's sad for me as a part of the audience. I feel like I'm just getting to know all of you, and now like school's over and we have to go home.
Yeah.
Camp's done.
Yeah.
You wrapped like 18 months ago. It's been a long time.
Long?
It's been over a year since you wrapped. I looked at the calendar.
Yeesh.
You've had a lot of time to sit with after.
Yeah.
How is that?
It has been a really long time. It doesn't feel that long, which I'm realizing right now as you're saying 18 months.
I know.
It doesn't feel that long. It kind of feels like everything just paused. And I mean, there was a strike in between the time that like we wrapped, and you know, this season is coming out, but it does kind of feel like everything just sort of paused for a second. And especially for me, I felt like I took a breath for a second, and it is really bittersweet. I think it feels like I've been with this community and with this world for a very long time, and yet it was only like 3-4 years. But it changed so much of my life in the best possible ways that it feels like a very long time that everything was happening. And I like thinking about it that way, and I like remembering it that way. I don't know, yeah, it's very sad, but I'm happy that we got to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can very much relate to that. Is there anything at all that you want to say directly to the audience that comes to the Ready Room every week, specifically to hear from you and your castmates and everyone that they love in the Star Trek world?
I think, I mean, mainly just thank you, I think I want to say, and that hearing from everyone and from the people who take solace in these characters and in these stories, hearing from you has like made it worth it and made it so much more special, especially playing Adira, hearing from trans and non-binary kids, hearing from parents that Adira sort of started to help them understand their kid better. That changed my life in a way that I just never expected that kind of a response. And I never expected to have that kind of relationship with the people who were viewing this character and loving them as much as I do. So I care a lot about the people who love this show and who love Adira. I care very deeply about them. And yeah, I just want to say thank you.
That's wonderful. Thank you.
Thank you for doing it first, so I could do it.
Oh, you're welcome. It was a privilege. Family shares. And something that the Star Trek Discovery family shared a lot over 5 seasons was the captain's chair. At the end of this week's episode, Raynor finally sits in the chair for the first time. Big deal. Very big deal. Yeah. So we thought that it would be fun to see if you all at home could guess everyone who has sat in Discovery's center seat. So you're going to do that. And when we come back, I'll chat with Jonathan Frakes about directing this week's episode and more. Control room, hit it.
Discovery is different from other Star Trek series in that our captain's chair is a musical chair.
Could I name all the captains?
All the people who have been a captain or an acting captain. Okay. And I know there's been Lorca.
Lorca?
Captain Lorca.
Boom. Got one.
Lorca and Pike.
Hit it.
Giorgio.
Giorgio.
We've had Burnham.
Burnham, of course.
Also Mirror Burnham.
I've been with Burnham and now Raynor.
Raynor.
Any others?
No.
What about yourself?
What?
It has had many butts in it over the years, mine being one of them.
I've been an acting captain.
Tilly and Killy.
That was a ruse. She was captain. Ariam. I guess Reese has stepped in a time or two.
Reese was standing captain this year.
Admiral Cornwall.
Cornwell?
Cornwell?
Cornwell.
I think I've got everybody.
That's pretty good.
Okay, that's good.
Who wore it best?
Well, I mean, if I don't say Sonequa, Captain Burnham, then I'm going to be in trouble.
I mean, I think Burnham is wearing the chair best, and I'm not just saying that. She's the heart and soul of the ship.
I'm always gonna hold Captain Burnham in the highest of esteem. Let's fly.
Johnny,
Sir,
welcome back to the Ready Room.
the pleasure's mine.
We were just talking in the makeup room about how we should probably get Johnny a Saturday Night Live five hosts
timer
jacket. Yeah, I think you are the guest we've had the most on the Ready Room, which is awesome for me. I don't know how it is for everybody else,
Well,
but
it's
it's
awesome
great
for me too. I look forward to it every time.
This episode is
Oh my God.
so
Right?
amazing and so wonderful. Talk to me about watching this group of actors and behind the scenes people come together over 5 years
Yeah.
to make Star Trek Discovery.
When I first went over there, I've told you this before, they all circled and welcomed me, and what they really wanted to know was, what are we in for? Because everybody had told them, your life's going to change, just
Yeah.
like with ours.
Yeah.
They really wanted to know about the conventions. They wanted to know about this and that,
Yeah.
And then over the 5 seasons, I've done a lot of episodes up
Yeah.
there. And we got very close, and we'd have meals together and all that. But I watched the show last night before coming, rewatched the show last night.
Yeah.
I heard it was good, so I wanted to look at it. And one of the things that stuck out so clearly was how important on Discovery and all things that preceded it and all things that follow it are the relationships. It's
Yeah.
all, I was thinking about Tilly,
Yes.
her relationship with Adira, Sonequa's relationship with Book, hugely significant. Adira with Anthony and Cruz. All of those are what we are interested in watching as they deal with all the bizarre shit that's going on.
Yeah.
But that's what jumped out,
Yeah.
is that those little tiny moments where you look and somebody's made a decision based on how they feel about the other character, and it's everything.
A thing that I love so much when I talk to anyone from the current shows, they all talk about how we heard about your cast.
Right.
We heard about your family, and we just really wanted to have that also. And I'm one of the people, I think, for whom Star Trek means so much more than it's a TV show and it's a job. For me, it's my family. Like, you are my family.
And you're my family too. It means a lot to me too, as you may have guessed. It has been 37 years.
Yeah, I know. And I think it's wonderful
Yeah.
that there's something about that. Like, I don't know, we have something so special, and the other casts want it, and they want to work for it.
And they have it.
And they want to earn
They
it.
feel it.
That's what I wanted
Oh,
to
yeah,
talk to you about.
absolutely. I think to a person, people are thrilled to be part. When you are lucky enough, when you go out to audition for a show, as we all do for our whole lives, and that show happens to be part of the Star Trek legacy, family, whatever the hell we are, it's kind of, you get more than you bargained for in a very, very good way.
This episode has some really, really great bridge moments. There are some really great
Blow
bridge
this shit up,
moments.
man. We're in trouble.
Yeah.
It was very well written show, and very well acted show, and very well shot. It's a really exciting episode.
Yeah, we packed a lot
Yes.
into 52 minutes this week. This entire season is, as it turns out, kind of inspired by one of our episodes, The Chase, which
So
I
I've been told.
just learned today that you directed.
I did.
Do you feel that there's a closing of a circle going from there to here to? Do you see those connections?
I do, now that they've been pointed out to me.
Yeah.
I certainly didn't know that it was that significant a reference, but of course, I appreciate it. But
Yeah.
I thought that this season had more of a Indiana Jones vibe.
I got that vibe real hard,
Right?
and I loved it.
I did too.
I was completely on board.
And that's an easier reference for everybody to play with.
The season for me follows a very traditional hero's journey, call to adventure, meeting with a mentor.
Joseph Campbell of you.
All of those beats unfold throughout this entire season. And I found this idea of a quest with challenges. We have to make sure the right people can get to this Lagrange point,
Right.
and that there's so much at stake.
Also, the relationship between Book and Burnham is in such flux.
Yeah.
and they need to work together as a team. And there are moments through the show, and again, they're all done with looks of, we got to talk about it. We'll talk about it later, but we're going to do, we still love each other. I think we still love each other, but they have that future stuff that they saw in the library, whatever that's called. So inside Burnham's massive brain, there are all kinds of emotional and physical and responsible and behavioral things going on about her ship and her relationship and her family and her past, and it's in the most capable of hands, because Sonequa thinks about that before she comes to work, and then in the close-up you see, oh my God, I saw like 12 different thoughts go through your eyes.
There's a moment I wanted to ask you about. We're in a medium shot on her, and she's talking to future Book, this sort of a creation of him in the archive. And
it's sort of like a future dream, I think, is the vibe.
I'm sure it happened to us at least once. Somebody gets zapped with the neutrino thing. They're, the inner light, right? They're gone for an entire lifetime, and we're like, you were out for 2 minutes. Are you okay? So there's a phenomenal sequence there where she is talking to Book, and I watched her put together, oh, this is what I need to do.
Yes.
This is what I've been running away from.
Yep. And I gotta hold on to it in my real life, in my real time story.
But I watched that happen in reaction.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
And all Book's dialogue is off camera.
Yep.
What a choice to play it that way.
Well, she's, the editor finds that.
Yeah.
And says, this is where they feel what we feel. They see what she's thinking. That's what they say. In Patrick's book, he talks about having worked with one of his idols, Rod Steiger.
Yeah.
Who told him that, which I guess he uses as touchstone for his acting, is that the camera captures your thoughts.
When they're all on the bridge, when you have them on the bridge, and this season there are no quiet moments on the bridge. That bridge is rocking every second you are on it.
It's great too, that bridge shoot.
It's so big and so beautiful.
Yeah. And also there's something in the background wherever you are. It's the lighting design of the production design has really, you can't find a bad angle. And we're not afraid to shake the camera in there either.
Yeah.
It's wild.
Yeah. There's something, the bridge should feel special.
Right.
Always. This bridge feels so big and it feels so consequential. It doesn't feel like it's a room. And the things that happen up there feel to me like they are happening in this enormous sacred space. An enormous part of that being the captain's chair. Right. And
how clever to honor it that way at the end of this. Is that where you're going?
That's where I'm going.
Yes. Callum.
I watched Rayner make this choice to stand and not go in the chair. And I think it's Tilly's like, you can sit in the chair, and he's like, I know. And then
but that's Sean and Ari, the writers.
Okay,
That's
I'm so curious about that, because what a moment.
It's so smart.
Yeah.
Because it's become such a big deal. What do you say when you're in the chair? How do you feel? What's your go sign? What's your make it so or engage or whatever?
Yeah.
So that's already been heightened all the way up through Anson's captainship.
Yeah.
And then brilliantly setting up with Tilly backing up. Is it weird that he doesn't sit down?
Is it just me, or does he never sit in the captain's chair?
Avoided like the plague. We've all noticed.
There is a ton of action this season. It's a ton of action in this episode. A lot of this comes, and a lot of this is motivated by the Breen.
Yeah.
Who really terrify me the way the Romulans did back in our era of these, you can't reason with them.
Yeah.
You can't defend yourself against them.
Well, they reminded me of the Borg. They got a whole Borg vibe too.
Yeah.
They're all.
It's like, okay, they're the Borg, yet somehow less logical.
Yes.
Like they're the Borg, but somehow more destructive and more violent.
Yes, and quicker to burn.
You have these enormous sets. That Dreadnought is just such a big
Well, the Dreadnought
ship.
is on the wall.
Yeah, so you do all of that on that massive AR wall, which for us would have been a blue screen.
Exactly.
Just talk to me about those enormous inside the Dreadnought scenes with all these background with no faces.
Planning.
And foreground actors with no faces.
And background actors on the volume.
Yeah.
Which you don't probably register. That
No.
In the created AR wall,
Yeah.
in the 30,000 LEDs
Yeah.
are more Breen.
Yeah.
which seamlessly seemed to, so that helps the depth of all the shots.
We have one episode left.
I do have a clip from the episode to share with you.
Okay.
Red alert. Red alert.
You gonna do a red alert?
No.
Give me red alert.
Red alert!
Thank you!
What I really mean, roll it.
Status report.
Still no sign of Captain Burnham from inside the portal.
Keep trying. Commander Jemison, can you get a transport lock on the portal?
Negative, sir. Still too much interference. It's the gravitational fields. Tractor beam is the only way, and for that we have to be in range.
That'll take time. A lot of debris to navigate.
Anybody have any good news?
Dreadnought's damaged from our trip through the shuttle bay. We still have some time before they're back in the game.
I'm guessing not much. Where's Tahal?
Her fleet will be here in 60 minutes.
That's our clock. We need to get to the portal and be gone by then.
Commander, the Dreadnought's sending out fighters. At least 40 of them.
All auxiliary power to shields. Ash should stay on the portal. Our mission does not change.
They're coming in now. Weapons hot.
God. Don't you feel like you're on the bridge with him?
He's a great captain, isn't he?
He's a great captain, but boy, Tunde's a great director too.
Rainer in the chair.
Yeah.
It's a big moment. It's a meaningful moment. I talk about this with everyone who has ever been part of Star Trek and everyone who's ever worked on the bridge. There's something about that chair, man.
There sure is. There must be. Remember, they stole the chair from Paramount. They stole Patrick's chair.
They stole Patrick's chair. Like, how are you going to move that? Who's going to fence your chair in 1988? You didn't think about the second half of your plan, stupid thief.
Well, don't you? There was also this, they stole a truckload of costumes. Remember this?
And got
story?
stuck at the gate.
No. They got off the lot with it. I told this story at the Annenberg Center when I was doing the thing with Patrick.
Okay.
And they swapped in the desert for the kit car.
No
yes, from
way.
Universal. And they came down, and the FBI and Mary Howard were there with binoculars, and they caught him. And you don't know this story?
No.
It was $80,000 worth of Star Trek clothes.
Yeah.
And the car from what's that show called?
Knight Rider?
Knight Rider.
They swapped our costumes for a Knight Rider?
That was the deal.
And I wasn't part of it?
That's what I'm
That's
saying.
so weird. Like that's something I would have set up. Yeah, I'll hook you up with costumes for a kid. Sure, how many costumes you want? 80,000? Done. I'll see you in the desert.
Exactly. Two semis in the desert with the FBI up in the woods. I love this story.
How is this not an episode of a TV? Okay, we're gonna talk about this later.
There's more to come.
Okay, enough about us and our costumes. Rainer in the captain's chair.
Right.
This is the first time he's in the captain's chair. It is the first time that actor is in the captain's chair. He strikes me as an actor who probably really respects that chair the way his character respects the chair. Has this ever come across your plate as Jonathan Frakes, William Riker directing this episode? Hey, this is my first time in the chair and I don't really know what to do. Has that ever happened?
Yes. It happened with him. It happened with Colin.
Tell me.
He was trying to wrap his head around what it was to be on Star Trek.
Oh, okay.
Because he came late to the game.
Yeah.
Fabulous actor. Fascinating.
He's sensational.
Too. And he sidebarred with me about the responsibility, the history, all the things that we talked about at the beginning of this show.
Yeah.
And he said, "What do you think about when I take the chair?" And I said, "Well, I don't know. There's 1,000 ways to go. Maybe you want to give it a little Picard maneuver."
Yeah.
Let's do this.
Wow. Make it
That'll
your own.
the cut. And they go, pop, pop. He found that.
You guys came together to make that like an incredibly meanable moment.
God, I mean, the responsibility that the writers put on it.
Yeah.
It was a runner. Tilly said, the pacing, dude.
You know why I asked you to serve as my #1 today, Lieutenant?
No, sir. Actually, I don't.
It's because you're smart as hell. You're a good leader. And if we were stuck in a foxhole together, I wouldn't kill you. That is, unless you gave me more of that warm and fuzzy encouragement that I don't need.
That is another one of those humanizing moments of, all right, these are people. Yeah. These are people in extraordinary circumstances. And when we see him on the bridge in this episode, I feel like that guy has grown so much.
Well, hasn't he taken some of her leadership?
He has. Oh, yeah. It's like he lost his command, and and had to come back. That is such an incredible story, such an incredible arc to fill those shoes in what it turns out is the last season of kind of one of the flagship shows. That's a huge responsibility.
He was aware of it. It's funny. It is a layered experience to be on Star Trek.
Yeah.
It's not any other show. And everybody who comes in feels it on both sides of the camera.
Yeah. I was going to ask you if you had any final words, and I think you just did.
I think I just did.
Thank you so much for being
I
here.
love being here with you, man.
I love you,
so
buddy.
Easy. I love you too.
There is one episode to go. Next week, I will have Captain Michael Burnham herself, the phenomenal Sonequa Martin Green, and showrunner Michelle Paradise here with me to help give Star Trek Discovery a proper send-off. Until then, I'm Wil Wheaton. Live long and prosper.